We would like to acknowledge that we are on the unceded ancestral lands of the Lheidli T'enneh. We are honored to be guests and visitors here, where we live, work, and play. This is what can happen when adults step out of the way and students make decisions and design their own learning. This is student agency.
My name is Harsh Dhaliwal, and I'm part of the District Student Advisory Council here at SD57 in Prince George, British Columbia. We've all heard stories of racism, whether it's through social media or through the news, but we lack an awareness of its prevalence in our day-to-day life. Through this project, we're able to listen to real-life stories from people in our communities and in our schools. And through this project, we really want to invoke deep listening and impact people through the power of story and through the heart.
I remember it very vividly, actually. So in grade 8, it was my first week, and wait, hold on, can I pause for a second? Sure. Am I allowed to say the N-word?
Whatever you're comfortable with, yeah.
Okay. So in grade 8, the first week, I went to my locker, and I was getting ready for my first class, and I hear the word nigger multiple times. So I look to my right, and I see these two. They obviously weren't in my grade, but grade 12 or 11, these two white boys cornering a black kid and calling him that multiple times.
So when I got to high school, I was in a completely different environment. And I remember when I was in grade 8, there's one scenario that really stands out to me. It was my last day of math class, and I had developed a friendship with a kid in my class who was Middle Eastern. And I remember we were playing a game, I can't even remember what it was, just to celebrate the last day. And he got this other kid out, and the kid yelled at him, "You need to leave this class, you terrorist." I asked him, I was like, should we do something? He was like, "No, there's nothing we can do. This is just what happens." And I was like, oh my God, this is not okay.
I remember people would call me a coconut because brown on the outside, white on the inside. And they thought it was funny. I thought it was funny too, but I didn't actually think it was funny. I actually thought it was pretty offensive, but I was just too scared to say anything.
In 8th grade, badminton zones at Dutchess Park, there was some parents sitting beside my mom for a game that I was playing, and they were actually making comments about my mom and me while I was playing, saying how, "Oh yeah, obviously Chinky's gonna get it. She's gonna get it. Oh, whatever, she's gonna win." Because they play ping pong and badminton all the time, right? And I felt horrible because my mom had to hear that. And that's the one person I don't want to have endure that. I would rather myself over her any day.
I haven't been, subject to a lot of racism, obviously, because, the system is built for people like me, not of color. And that's something that needs to change.
Yeah, I think the first time I can really remember feeling different is it's probably in kindergarten and playing on the playground and with some kids. And I remember a lady yelling out, "Don't play with those dirty Indians." Because I always just went to my mom and I'm like, "What's that supposed to mean?" And the hurt and pain in her eyes trying to explain.
I don't think there's probably a week that I go by without being called the N-word or somebody saying something. Just when I'm walking with my kids to the store or going to the park for whatever reason, right?
I just saw myself as somebody who wasn't exactly fitting in with everybody and somebody who had a different skin color.
I think a lot of times it's been in the hallways, when you pass by someone and you or a group of people and they're saying certain things and you kind of walk by and it makes you almost uncomfortable in the sense that they're saying that without even having any hesitation, or they're knowing it's wrong, but they feel like it's oh no, society has made it seem like it's okay that we can do this.
Yeah, well, the craziest thing, as I said before, I'm an athlete. I played basketball, and in this very gym, when I was in the 10th grade, we were in a city semifinal game, and we were beating that school, and there was an altercation between two players, and one of the players' sisters was super angry, stormed courtside, and then started shouting racial slurs towards my coach, me, my teammates, before ultimately getting kicked out. So that was a pretty crazy experience.
Yeah. Like, it can be small or large, but I see it probably a lot in our school district, like even regarding just small jokes that someone might share on their phone, to as large as like that blackface incident that we had at PGSS.
I think the number one thing that I could tell right away was people like to make jokes. And that's the number one thing that stuck with me throughout high school, and I feel like it is something that doesn't go away.
Particularly, I think it was kind of like senior math kind of courses, and we were there and we were talking about some grade for a test or something like that, and it came up. People were asking around, what did you get on the test? And I told them my score, and somebody said, oh, of course you did well. And I was like, well, it's not that I don't put in effort. Like, I still study and I still do all my homework and everything.
Growing up in the track club, there were a lot of people of color in the track, and they would be made fun of for their skin color or the way their eyes were shaped differently.
And for me, growing up and seeing everybody else around me doing the exact same things and it being okay, and then me, just because I have this scarf, just it's a scarf, that's it. Everything was so big and everything was so wrong that I was doing.
And so what made me different was the way I looked. So I spent a lot of energy trying to not look different, like people weren't going to notice or something, right? I remember being so embarrassed about my culture that like friends would come over and I'd be like, oh, my house smells weird, I'm going to open up the windows. There's my grandma wearing her traditional clothes. I'm like, hey, grandma, can you beat it?
We've moved here, so then I could have that education, and just getting put in right back to the lowest. That was a big struggle, was trying to prove that I can be just as smart, just as academically talented as anybody else here.